Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to TripleTopHat. My name is Ben, and today I am joined by Jamie and Chris. Say hello, guys.
Hello.
Guys.
Classy. Basically, guys, what we want to talk about today, the preview came and went last weekend, and we actually did do a video on this. We did the pictures that leaked for the Necrons. We had two, I believe. One was half of the suspected box set release that we thought, and one was basically previewing a whole ton of new models, including, we'll go into that in a bit. And we actually did do this recording, but because of some technical issues on Chris's end, it kind of wasn't really legible.
Yeah, no, apologies. You may, if you have listened to the more recent episode or podcast, yes, you will be aware of the issues that we are referring to. So yeah, that is now hopefully sorted with the new...
We can guarantee with absolute certainty that there will be no audio quality issues with this video.
Yes, we can. However, other issues might crop up. In fact, I've been told by my colleagues that I swear too much. So, I'm just going to do the best of what I got. I can't guarantee that.
I just don't want to be at a point where eventually I'm going to have to say, right, I need to beep this out, but that's a lot of beeping or bleeping rather. So I don't want that kind of workload, Ben. So you need to.
I have been told I did drop the F-bomb 5 times in one sentence before, and I completely didn't realise I did it.
Well, there we go. Anyway, on to the episode.
Yes. First image. There. That is, if I'm correct, Jamie, the suspected half of the potential 9th edition box set. Am I right?
I reckon it is. I reckon you're right.
Yeah. Well, as our resident top Necron boffin, what are we looking at?
Right. Well, first things first, we've got new warriors, new sculpts, new shiny, brilliant, awesome sculpts. Apart from that one with a goofy face.
I think it's worth probably pointing this out because I don't think we covered it in the initial. Or we may have done the sort of review or the post preview podcast that we did in terms of the reveal of the Necron warrior and that CGI that they did. I can't remember if we did or not, but it was. I don't think
it was CGI. I think it was just a video of the model.
God, I hope so. Oh, it was terrible.
Yeah, it was
so
terrible.
Bad. I literally lolled.
Yeah, I'm glad the actual model itself looks pretty decent compared to that. It's otherwise I would have been a little bit embarrassed for you, Jay.
I fell to the floor in despair at that point.
Well, one sec. There we go. I actually thought the Necrons, the actual troops as they stood, the Necron warriors, I actually thought they weathered time pretty well. I mean, not in the lore-wise, I mean model-wise. So, it came as a surprise when they released whole new sculpts for them, because I thought the old ones stood up pretty well.
They're not that different, really, are they? They're a bit more aged now, and they got eyeballs sticking out and intestines hanging out. But
yeah, that is true.
And get rid of the green rods.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be. Yeah, and that was the point I was going to make. It was, as you said on the day, that it would be to try and phase out that secondary material that they required for the older sculpts. But I got to admit, I do like the added elements with like the eyeball falling out the socket, etc., and bits falling off.
It's like 20% more shamble, isn't it?
Yeah, it gives them a little bit more character and gives them maybe that makes them look a little bit more ancient, because these are supposed to be ancient robots from the time of the War in Heaven. So these are just starting to wake up. They're not, as far as I'm aware, Jay, you might be able to correct me on this. I don't believe they're making new Necrons.
No, they can't make new ones.
Yeah, so
can't they?
No. They got the souls of Necron people in them.
Oh, so right. Yes.
When they die,
yes, that's right.
That's it. They're dead. Right?
Yeah.
If they don't reanimate, then yeah.
Well, I suppose it gives people the option, doesn't it? I mean, if you wanted your Necron army to look weathered and battered, along with the paint scheme of rust, you can have them all, practically, decaying, like with all this battle damage and just like time damage, I suppose. If you wanted to go that way. But I'd like to think they still have the option to have like the clean-looking ones in there.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of it. I don't dislike it. I kind of like the whole idea that Necrons are like ranks upon ranks of the same-looking dude marching forward. But I don't like Chris says it gives him a bit more character. So I like that as well. Swings and roundabouts.
So the Warriors are nice, but I think really I mean, the warriors make up, I guess, the vast majority of your army. They're the basic troops, etc. So they kind of, when you're glancing over the table, they're the things that probably fill out most of your side of the table. But I think the things that really stand out in the images that have been revealed are probably some of the new units and the characters that have been hinted at, or maybe hinted at or properly revealed anyway. So, yeah, I guess in this image, maybe the guy just to the left of those warriors.
What, you mean this guy right here?
I do indeed.
Who's he? He doesn't exist.
Well,
See, what I think that is, I think that is potentially going to be like a sergeant or something. Someone in charge of this squad.
so do you think he's actually got legs as opposed to, I can't make out whether it's just because of how it's faded on the image and blurred, whether that
Yeah, he'll have legs, I'm
below
pretty
his
sure.
torso looks like it's either like a destroyer base or what. It looks more like it's got this sort of a destroyer style lower half.
If that was a destroyer, it'd have a much bigger gun.
Maybe it's
Well,
a
what
new
if it's just,
form of
what if
light
it's a regular
destroyer.
destroyer?
Yeah, just a light destroyer.
It'd still have a bigger gun. Guarantee it. No, I think there's another leaked image as well that we don't have, but it's of the front cover of the new Necron Codex, and it's got this guy on it right at the front, I noticed.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. I mean, you
Could
can't
it
see legs in that picture either, but I'm 99% sure he's got legs.
In
Right,
the
okay.
past video, Jamie, you did mention that guy shares some of the same sort of design features of like leader models. They've got this sort of like glyphs around the collar,
Yeah,
so like a
that's one
sign of
the reasons
rank.
I think he's some kind of commander. That is very much an Necron authority symbol. It's like this guy here. He's obviously a figure of authority, and he's got it going on there. This guy up here, this Scorpec Lord, he's got it going on. So yeah, he's in charge, and I think he's in charge of that squad because you can't see
Yeah,
anything else on this picture.
I guess that
And
makes
if it's
sense.
a box set, then he's going to be, there's nothing else in it. So I think that makes sense to me.
Does that make I guess it does make a little bit more sense. So it's a bit more uniform with all the other armies in the sense that you have your squads and then you have a particular captain for that unit. Whereas Necrons beforehand didn't have that for their warriors, did they? Your sort of
If we're going down that
HQs were
more
your
character, more
lords.
personality route, then that makes sense as well, doesn't it?
Yeah. It'd be the same with, like, I guess for my aspect warrior squads, it would have the Autarch. It's the Autarch? No, Exarch, sorry. So I guess it's kind of like the equivalent, for your Necrons, maybe? I don't know.
Has he got any? Just a quick question, Jamie. Are any of those warriors rocking the same kind of shitty bang bang gun he's got?
Good point, Ben. No, they're not. That to me looks like a Gauze blaster that an Immortal would have.
Right. Okay.
Almost identical.
Unless that is a model from an Immortal squad.
It could be, but why would you put an Immortal in there, just one, on its own in a box set?
To raise these sort of debates and these questions, to keep you engaged and excited for what could be revealed or what will be revealed in the coming weeks.
To be fair now, we're only speculating that this is going to be half of the box set. We don't know for a fact. I mean, from what we can gather, it's all but nailed on. I mean, we've got this
there
side.
is another image that is the Primaris half of this box set.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there's about the same sort of stuff in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Moving on. That we'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah.
Look, we have new Scarab bases, and now they're way more swarmy than before.
Yes, I got to admit that is a good thing. It's a bit, as we said in the previous recording, it's a little bit
What
more.
did I say before? The field of daisies.
Yeah,
Just like the odd one poking out of a base.
Yeah.
Looks naff.
these are a little bit more closely related to the Ripper swarms that Forge will do for the Tyranids.
They don't look as solid, though. They don't look like one solid chunk of plastic, do they? They still look like individual things you just glue down. Just like loads of them.
I guess it could be, couldn't it?
Yeah, it could be. I mean, you can definitely tell those Ripper ones from Forge World. That is one chunk of plastic.
Yes, yeah.
There's no confusing that, but those, that could be still like 5 or 6 scarabs just glued to a base.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be good if they were like individual scarabs that you could glue down, because there's a lot of conversion potential there to have just a load of loose scarabs on a base.
Something fun I saw a while ago, just with a Tyranid sword. Rippers, because you get Rippers like for free in most Tyranid box set. People use them as like wound counters on bases. So like every time you take a wound, you take a Ripper off and you magnetize them.
That's cool. I like that. Yeah, yeah, I do like that.
Right,
And
then
the guy above.
moving on to this guy.
Yeah, now he isn't in the other image that we're going to get to shortly, and I gotta admit, he is definitely out of a lot of the new range or a lot of the new models, something that piques my interest. I just think he looks very regal. He looks a lot more dominating in terms of his stature. Everything about him kind of excites me, really.
Ooh.
I don't think, because to me that screams like he's an overlord or a pharaoh or something. That, to me, he's got that kind of look about him. But there's no need for a new overlord model because the one we've got is quite recent. So that would potentially leave this being a named character that we don't know about yet.
Oh, okay.
Really?
I reckon. Now, I've heard some talk going around the internet. Well, I haven't heard it. I've read it, obviously. But there are 2 Necron characters that don't currently have models. From the Fall of Orpheus Forge World book from God knows how many years ago.
Yeah.
But there is a Cryptek and an Overlord in that book. Now,
You think that's the? You think he's Kotor the World Killer?
Say that one more time, then.
Flibbity up the Magic Fox Man.
Like the World Killer.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. People have said that, and it might be true, it might not. Personally, I don't think it is.
No.
But I think he may very well be a named character. He looks like a bit of a beefcake anyway. I'm looking forward to getting that.
If I was to place a bet, I'd say that's just a new Overlord. Mate, listen, there is precedent for that. My Magus for my Tyranid, not Tyranid, Magicial Cult Army or Magus or whatever you want to call it, that sculpt was a redone, pretty recent one, and they released a completely different one.
Yeah,
the female version.
It's a bit like the Spirit Seers for the Eldar. They had a fairly decent looking Spirit Seer already. And then they released a newer version in one of the more, I think it was just before the Psychic Awakening series. So,
but saying that, Jamie, isn't your Lord model just a regular Necron Lord? Isn't that like a very old model now?
The standard Lord is, yeah.
So that could just be a Lord.
I can't see this being a Lord. That looks better than the current Overlord. It's got more stuff going on. It looks better.
Maybe they might get rid of Lords altogether then.
Yeah, maybe they demote your Overlord down to a Lord, and he's the new Overlord then.
I mean, anything's possible. I mean, there is one thing above an Overlord. That's a Pharaon. We could be getting a generic Pharaon model, maybe.
Do you have a Pharaon model already in the range?
Say again?
Do you have a Pharaon model in the range already, or not?
The only Pharaon in the range is... Actually, I think there's 2. There's... Stormlord Imhotep, yeah, he's the Sautek Pharaon, and I think Trajan the Infinite is the Pharaon of the Nihilak dynasty. I have to double check that, but I think that's the 2 of them. And they're both named though, aren't they? So we don't have a generic, this is a Pharaon Overlord for your own dynasty, for example.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah.
Because that is the hierarchy, isn't it? It's Lord, Overlord, Pharaon, and then, Silent King Man.
I would guarantee that's not a Lord. There's too much going on there for it to be a Lord.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Let's move on to this thing.
Well, I like that.
Yeah, I mean, that is interesting. I would probably say hold off on talking about that just yet because we've got a clearer picture of that and an alternative version of that, which I'm sure a lot of people have already seen. But in the next image, I guess the other models that we don't see in the next image are the models to the left.
Okay. Yeah, we'll leave that one for now. So I guess it's these 2 different types of models, which are, I believe, are called Scorpex.
Okay. And are you... I know we talked about it before, but do you believe that this is 2 different loadouts that we're seeing here? You've got a dual-wielding one and then 2-handed one.
Honestly, I've got no idea. It's Necron units, typically, they all have to take the same weapon. But if they're taking the range in a new direction, that could change. Yeah. It might just be it's different variations. It's different visual variations of the same weapon just to make the squad look a bit different.
Right, okay.
Yeah. They could be different weapons as well. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? These guys. I've said before on previous videos that particularly the Lord there, is it the Scorpec Lord or Overlord or whatever it is?
Yeah, he's mint. I
It's like
love the design of that model. It's amazing.
he's growing on me. He really is. He's looking good. But yeah, the Scorp actually look nice. It's about time Necron's had a close combat option that wasn't flayed ones, or you know, what's it, or wraiths, you know,
God,
yeah,
Praetorians, wraiths,
like a fast moving close combat option. That's not
like
wraiths. Yeah, that's not wraiths. Like a Necron, not a canoptic construct.
Well, these are terrible in close combat. You saw that trailer.
Oh yeah, they go down.
One chainsword to the sternum.
Yeah, it can brush off a power sword, but chainswords, my god, struggle.
They look like the toughness 5.
Yeah, I would say they're probably toughness 5, 2 wounds a pop, or maybe 3
wounds.
wounds. If the squad's of 3,
maybe
3 wounds.
If they share a destroyer profile, they're going to be the same kind of fucking thing, aren't they?
Yeah,
there you go.
It could be the close combat version of the destroyer.
Yeah, that's what I think. Fast moving, heavy hitting, hard to kill, all the good things.
Yeah, I don't look forward to playing these.
And that covers them. You guys have any more idea on what this thing is?
Honestly, I have no idea. I keep thinking, right, these... Because we don't see any tomb spiders. I mean, I doubt they're going to get rid of tomb spiders because they are... You know, they're a part of the Necron design on a lot of things. You see the design echoed over and over again in different models, but I think anything that shares that kind of, like, canoptic shell design... I'm saying that right, aren't you, Canoptic?
You are, actually, yeah. Surprisingly.
Well, change.
Maybe... Okay, guys, you know, calm down. Maybe these are like not so much to buff your units. Maybe they could be, but sort of like an anti sort of psyker thing, like a mobile gloom prison.
I don't know about that. I think it's probably more likely going to be something which is there in support for the unit. It's just I find it odd that they have just a single one placed next to that particular cluster of model or unit rather. Sorry. I would say it's probably something associated with them. It obviously doesn't look like it's some hard-hitting melee force to be reckoned with. Anything like that. It just looks like it's probably there just to back them up.
It looks like a servo skull or something, doesn't it?
Just that sort of thing.
A bit of support to the unit.
Do you reckon it's going to be something that helps buff reanimation?
Could be.
I was thinking about that.
Like that. Yeah.
Because a lot of the units that do enhance reanimation aren't very fast moving, because basically it's just Cryptex at the minute and the Ghost Arc.
Yeah.
But Cryptex don't move very quick, but they have released that one that moves 10 inches, so they've got a bit of speed now, so there wouldn't be a reason to release another quick moving reanimation buffer, I don't think, because we've already got that.
Don't tomb spiders buff reanimation? Seems like they should.
No. They repair
I think
vehicles.
they just repair, don't they?
Yeah.
I know we're going to talk about it in the next slide or the next image anyway, but the tool model that we've just brushed past it for the moment, I think that particular loadout on that one is going to be something that buffs reanimation.
Well, that's the...
So we're going to talk about it in the next image, but we're talking about it now.
Yeah, well, is there anything else from this?
That's going to be that's going to be a lot clearer then. But yeah, as far as that is, I mean, go on, Jamie. What are the names again? The spider dudes. Scorpex, yeah. Those guys are nice. They're good. They look good. They are very distinctive, and they are growing on me. I was not a fan when they first showed them at all. Just because, particularly the Lord, just because of the asymmetry, isn't it? The one big strong hand and the two smaller hands.
Are you talking about the normal ones or the Lord here?
No, the normal ones. The normal ones I had no problem with, but I wasn't in love with them. But it's one of those things that steadily grow on me the more I look at them.
Mm.
But
they're terrible at killing sisters of battle, so I don't know if I'll get any.
Well, the sisters of battle, mate, have the armor of faith, don't they? It doesn't matter what kind of ancient weapons you hit them over the head with. As long as they believe, they'll be fine.
Belief is the best shield.
It is. It is.
Oh, I forgot to mention, by the way, I know the name of this thing.
Go on.
It's a Canoptech plasma sight.
Plasma
Where did you
sight.
get- Where did you get that information from?
It was a post on the internet when I get all my information.
Fair
Right,
enough, I
so
suppose.
Reddit.
I mean, I don't get all my information from the same post. I mean, just like generically posts on the internet. Like,
Right,
going to the one
okay.
post for everything.
Right.
Clarify.
I mean, it's an interesting name. It doesn't really give away much about what it's actually going to be there to do.
Christ, mate, when does any 40k name ever give away what they're meant to do, apart from when you've got assault in the name?
Yeah.
God knows. Very curious about that anyway.
I mean, time will tell.
Okay.
Hopefully, we should find out in the next week or two.
Yeah.
Bloody hope so. Right, moving on to this bonanza.
Whew.
That image made a lot of Necron boys and girls very moist downstairs. I think it was when it was released. Very
Oh, yes,
moist.
it did, Ben. Oh, yes, it did. I thought I was going to get 2 models this year, and I was over the moon.
Yes. Yeah. That. I mean, I know I've said it before. I've said it numerous times, but I am very, very jealous about basically what the amount of love that GW have given the Necron players. I just only hope that by just brushing shoulders with you guys and be like, "Hey, buddy, how you doing? Can I hang out with you?" They'll give us some love because
you're not gonna get new models just by being proxy to someone that will get the new models, mate. You'll get them when you get them, when GW feels deigned to throw some scraps off the table.
Yeah. I mean, looking at this, the vast majority of that range is pretty much brand new. There are a couple of things which are, currently out. So you've got the croissant, the flying croissant in the top left corner.
Well, Chris, going from right to left, you've got Creepy Spider Thing, Big Bad Boss Man, Jacked Dr. Manhattan, brand new Big Brick, Big Guy with Big Gun, and Big Creepy Spider Thing with Big Gun. Going from right
we
to
have
left.
it. End of the video.
Yeah, there we are.
Thanks
Thanks
for that,
very
Ben.
much. Yeah, cheers. Jay, I'm just going to hand back over to you again, mate. You basically take the lead on this. You start wherever you want, really, and go ahead.
Catch it, kill it. Right. So, starting from the left, because we always start from the left, that hasn't changed. That's exactly the same. It's just
Still a
for
beautiful
effect
model, though.
and show
I
off the
really
new
do
flyer
like
rules we've
it.
got. Yes,
Just a
I
nice
don't own
one.
a flyer for some reason. I don't own this. But
You
I
should.
get one, shouldn't I? Yeah.
Are the rules any good
Maybe
for
if they're
them?
good in 9th, then, might be worth getting one.
Are they not any good?
It's
Well,
got
we
a
know-
heavy weapon on it, so it's hitting on 4s.
Well, we know the change in the way flyers work for 9th, don't we? We're going to be less things moving around the board, just generally being knowing more like sort of strafing runs, I believe.
Yeah, I don't quite understand what the change is going to be. I've sort of got it in my head that it sort of comes onto the table, bombs something, and then goes off the table, and then doesn't come on until the next bombing run.
Well, the GW have been on a tangent, just a small aside from this. GW have, I think they've struggled with flyer rules just because right now they just kind of put it around the board, don't they? Like move fast in one direction, like 30 inches, turn around and do it again.
Yeah,
But I
die
think-
if they leave the board.
Yeah, so I think they want the ability to, if they leave the board, then come back on as like a bombing run sort of thing, like you said. But anyway, that's an aside. So we know the night side / doom side hasn't changed. Go on.
Okay, this thing. We don't know what it is, but we like it.
Yes, we do. It's very War of the Worlds, only really good.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the point I made before is this big gun it's got on top of its head is ripped straight from the Doomsday Arc.
So that is what you believe a Doomsday cannon.
It is. Yes.
Right, and just again, reminders, and also for the listeners' benefit, what the stat line for that particular weapon is, if you know it off the top of your head.
Of course I know it. It is 72-inch, strength 10, AP -4, D6 damage gun, or D3. It depends on what size of squad you're shooting at.
So basically, it is a death cannon. Whatever that shoots at is going to die.
Yes. The main benefit of that is the range on it, because you don't get many guns above 24 inches in the Necron range.
No.
No,
which I hope is going to be addressed.
you tend to be like a mid-range shooty bang bang army, don't you? Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they're going to call it, but I think this is going to be a dual kit. So you're going to be able to make that or this thing down here. So
Yes.
we think that is a heavy weapons platform of some kind. It's got a gun on top and 2 guns underneath. And this we think is going to be some kind of buffing unit, which I think I've heard people calling it a reanimator. So it might operate in a similar way to a Ghost Ark. It can either be a Doomsday Ark or a Ghost Ark, a heavy weapons platform, or a reanimation buff.
Yeah. It's one of the more standouty models of the new range, and I know you've got a few there that stand out, but that thing it's really sort of creepy looking into it. I mean, you said before, JB, that it's like got a very Lovecraftian bent to it.
Can you imagine if this wasn't sci-fi, what it'd be made out of?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It'd be Lovecraftian as hell. It'd be all giblets and tentacles and things, wouldn't it?
Mm.
Yeah, so I don't know. This thing seems too similar to what the Ghost Ark does. I don't know if they're phasing that out. But, yeah, I don't know what the purpose of having something so similar to a Ghost Ark is, unless you're going to get rid of it.
Mm.
But
Well,
I guess time will tell.
We don't know. We don't.
I guess it's not a transport, so there's that.
Yeah, exactly. We don't actually know what the crack is yet, because if that thing is packing the Doomsday cannon, as you say, I mean, why would you have a Doomsday Ark? It might be it might just be a gun that looks very similar, but like it might be a watered down version, shorter range sort of thing. You never know.
It could be. I mean, look at how tall it is. That thing's going to be able to shoot over a lot of terrain.
It's also going to get shot very easily if the rules stay the same. You can see it, you can shoot it.
It's obviously a character.
Obviously, yes.
Yeah, of course it is, Jay. Yeah, you keep working on that, mate. Yeah, no problem.
So, putting big creepy spider things to bed, we've also got the dude snuggled in the background there, haven't we?
Ah, this dude.
Mm-hmm.
This dude, what I think is the new Pariah model.
Go on, walk us down that path. Why is that the new Pariah model?
It's got a white face.
Okay, so you're basing the entirety of that's the new Pariah model on it possesses a white face.
Well, it's got a white face. It looks like it's got one sort of eye in the middle of it. It looks creepy as hell. I think these things on its shoulders are Blackstone, anti-psychic stuff.
Yep.
I also think the visual direction the new range is taking, the more sci-fi horror sort of theme, I don't think a new Pariah model, if we get one, is going to look anything like the old one, which was like a really pristine statue-looking guy.
Mm.
So I think they'd go like a weird sort of crazy sci-fi route with it.
I was thinking on this, Jamie, because obviously Pariahs are meant to be like psychic nulls, aren't they? Like people can't stand to be around them, and psychers they just can't be around them. Now I know you guys also know that Shadow in the Warp is sort of like it's got an anti-psychic mitigating buff to it. Necrons could be heading towards that kind of thing where they have certain units that basically create an aura bubble of, for want of a better series of words, anti-psycherness.
What do you mean?
I think the same way Grey Knights are very much an anti-demon army, this could be an anti-psyker army. Could be like the niche it's going for.
Yeah, I don't see it being a case though that it's going to completely negate psychic powers, because that would be completely
of course not, that'd be
broken. Yeah, it'd be completely broken. But yeah, I can see it having. I can't see it being quite the same as Grey Knights versus Demons, because that's very niche. It's very specific. It's
well,
to a sort of select range. It doesn't affect every race, whereas pretty much every other race. I think, other than maybe Tau, I don't even know if Tau have any psychic powers, but
Admech, Dark Eldar.
Dark Eldar do they not have any psychic powers?
No, they don't. They don't do psychers. I don't think because they don't like the idea of someone being possibly a vessel for Slaanesh units, do they?
I'm not 100% sure, so I couldn't honestly say, but I don't see this being like Jay. said, I think it's very much going to be a case where these are very. They won't have Necrons won't have any psychic powers, but they will be very strong in sort of in regards to denying psychic powers.
Well,
maybe
Maybe
like
across this whole range, there's a lot of Blackstone in there on
exactly.
models.
So if you're
But
within
looking at what
a certain range of these units or certain units, then it might mean that people that are trying to cast psychic powers -1 or 2 to their result. So
What we're looking at what we already know, Chris, evidence out there. We know Illuminor Zaras does possess an item that makes people perils on. Is it a double? Any double at all?
Any double.
Any
yeah.
double. So if that kind of rule translates over to possible war gear for Necrons, you never know. That guy could be a walking sort of perils of the warp bubble.
Yeah, it could be deny the witch. It could be increasing the chances to fail a psychic test. Could be anything, couldn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my stab at that one. I think the new direction they're going in, that's potentially a pariah. I think it looks quite weird and creepy and scary, and that's sort of the thing behind psychic nulls, isn't it? They're terrifying, like your Kilexus assassins. They're scary, aren't they? And
Yeah, in that fashion. I mean, normal.
Face.
Yeah. So I think you're probably. I would say you're probably onto a safe bet there, imagining that those are going to be the new pariahs.
If not pariah, not pariah name,
well,
they'll be
it's
similar.
in the background. It's not with the rest of the army, therefore pariah.
Yeah. I mean, it might not be called a pariah, but it will act sort of the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if we move on from what we think that is, we can move on to what we know that is there. The big boy with the big gun.
This beefcake right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. I think, as I have said previously, this is a destroyer. I think it's going to do away with the current destroyer and the heavy destroyer. I think it'll be a dual kit, or it might just be one model with 2 different fire modes. Because there seems to be a lot of that going around these days, and I think it's going to be a lot tougher and beefier. You might only get 1 on its own, or maybe a max squad of 3 instead of 6, as it is at the moment.
Yeah, which can then be perhaps broken down into singular units if needs be, or something like that.
Yeah, because it just looks chunkier and bigger.
That gun is amazing.
It's good, isn't it?
It's good. That's a good gun.
I don't want to be hit by it. I know that much. Yeah, that it's an amazing model. That the detail on it is fantastic. I like the sort of the face plates that it's got going on over its faceplate, which with
it's
the glowing
like
green
thing,
orb,
isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's obviously got the 2 or maybe 4 arms. I don't know how many arms that thing has.
It's got one that ends in the back of the gun, and then it's got 2 arms that are holding the gun up. That's how big it is.
Yeah.
The thing I like most about this is that this new Necron range, it seems to be doing away with a lot of the sort of flat, blank surfaces the old range sort of had. You see it on the new monolith, and you see it here. The repulsor platform, is that what it's called, Jay?
What's that? Sorry.
Basically, its lower half. Is it a repulsor platform? Is it called something like that? It's not.
It's something like that.
It's not as smooth as the old one.
You've got flat. It sort of like curves up here into a lump, doesn't it?
Yeah,
like an insect.
Yeah.
And these engines, they're not square anymore. If you see, they're round.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
they're moving away from like large flat surfaces, aren't they? Which is it's a good design choice.
Yeah, it's more interesting to look at the end of the day. Cool. So, like that, that's taking the box.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to, I guess this is more left, isn't it?
Yes. A reimagining of a classic Necron unit, the classic Necron unit by a lot of accounts.
And to be honest, this is kind of
somewhat in the recent years.
Yes, it has, but the monolith is kind of, as you said with the older model, it's the
iconic.
It's the iconic model of the whole range, even though it's ultimately just, I guess, your basic vehicle choice. I don't know. I don't know how to best describe the monolith in terms of how it fits in with the rest of the range.
I think basically when the range was like re-released in 3rd edition all those years ago, this was the only Necron vehicle, and it just broke all the rules. It was horrible to deal with.
Yeah.
It was a big, fat tank with a lot of wounds and a lot of firepower, from what I can remember.
I mean,
It's
compared
very
to
hard to take down.
Armor
Yeah.
14 all the way around.
Yeah. You couldn't penetrate it, you could only glance it.
I mean, it'll be interesting to know what the rules are going to be like for the monolith coming out in this new edition. All I will say is that even compared
Can't
to
be
a lot
worse
of the
than the
new,
current edition.
even compared to a lot of the other models that we'll see on, we're going to move on to shortly, and that one that you can obviously spot on to the right of it, I still think that this is the most eye-catching and iconic model out of that entire range. It's the thing that draws your eye, for me anyway. It's
Bloody
it's,
huge, that's why.
It's huge. It's grand. I love it. It's probably my favourite model out of everything there.
And it can now shoot in combat.
It certainly
Yes,
can.
it can.
But go on, Jamie. Talk us through the new design elements of this.
I just love it. It's like, it seems to have this sort of tacked on shell around it now, and it might be that it's got this blackstone pyramid in the middle of it that this shell is attached to, and they've done away with the naff looking green pole at the front of it, and they've got this sort of lightning field thing that you've got a partially materialized Necron coming out of. That's fucking boss. And the crystal at the top, that stupid looking Lego thing, is gone. We've got this cool looking green orb now, which I'm going to struggle like hell to paint. And it's just, there's blackstone all over it, so I should imagine this thing is going to be really tough to take down for Psychers.
Mm-hmm.
Just everything looks better about it.
I wonder if it will be a dual kit.
Well, interesting you should say that, Ben, because I noticed something on this what I didn't notice before.
Don't make me do a southern accent, mate. Don't make me do a London accent. Come on.
How dare you?
Because I know what word I want to say, and Chris will have a go at me.
Don't.
Anyway, the thing that I noticed was I just mistook these guns for like a new imagining of the Gauss flux array that is on the current one. I didn't think any more about it until I looked closely at this one in the back. That's a different gun. That's a Gauss flux array.
Me and Chris did point this out in the last video, mate.
Did we? I didn't. I don't think I did.
We did. I picked that up pretty much straight away when compared. Because I compared both of them straight away when I saw the image, and yes, you're right, Jamie. They're both differently armed.
Yeah, that to me looks more like the standard monolith armament on the corners. This, to me, looks more like that.
And what is that?
That, Ben, is a death ray.
Of course it is. Why wouldn't it be?
Why wouldn't it be? We've
Why
got a
wouldn't
doomsday cannon and a death ray. That's the only reason I collect Necrons.
What else have you got? An annihilation cannon,
Got
an Armageddon beam, a Ragnarok spoon.
We've got a Death Star.
What's the stat line of that particular weapon, if it is what you think it is?
Oh, I think... Well, it's on the Quasson. I haven't got one, but I think it's strength 10 AP minus 4 D6 damage. Don't know the range.
It's not one of those stupid ones where you like pick a point on the table and then, draw a line and that kind of thing.
I hope so. I like that.
Oh, is it
They
there?
did out with that rule, though.
No, they didn't. Not completely. It still lingers around in some models.
Does
Is
it?
it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not the one that I have, I take it.
No, not the one that you have. But it does. It is lingering around in some places. Like draw an imaginary line and all this stuff.
Right, so yeah, different weapon options on this. That's a good thing.
Very nice. It's good. But I was more thinking of, do you think there'd be a second variant where it's actually closed up, sort of like the Tesseract Vault and the Obelisk?
I can't see that, to be honest.
These things are going to make the Obelisk look absolutely guff, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, it'll stand up to a Tesseract Vault, but the Obelisk is just terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Right, moving on to this guy. The faded out dude from the previous image in all his glory here, pointing away.
Now, before you corrected me on the last video, Jamie, I was assuming that this was sort of like a religious figure of the Necrons, but you obviously just said, nah, mate, they don't believe in nothing. There you go. That's my attempt.
Religion per se, no.
No. So,
I think this is a Cryptek. He's got the one eye. He's got the big stupid metal beard thing going on.
I was going to
He
say,
doesn't seem to
actually,
have any
looking at
legs.
that, Jay, that almost looks like that's his whole chin, and then where you have that sort of inset bit, that's his mouth.
Yeah, that's his mouth. Now you've said that, yeah, it just looks like someone's got on a Necron's head and just pulled it. It's like 3 feet long.
In which case, that looks almost comical. So
Now you've said that, I can't unsee
I
it.
can't unsee
Solid.
it.
So you reckon that's some sort of new version of the Cryptek?
Yeah, I mean, it could be a named Cryptek. It could just be a new Cryptek model. He seems to have a lot of character, though, for just a standard generic model to me. And I think these guys behind him, I think they've got to be attached to his profile in some way. I think they're kind of maybe bodyguard construct units created by them or something.
Yeah.
I think this might be a character, and these might be attached to him. I know some people have said these two guys might be the new Flayed One models, but there's no skin on them. I can't see that.
No, the
I
flayed
would
ones
say
are very
the flayed
distinctive.
ones. Yeah. Interesting though, Jay. I guess I know we're gonna talk about it in a little bit more detail after we've discussed the rest of the range that we see in this image. But with the more recent story snippets or sort of little stories bits that the GW have released online,
Short stories. Yeah.
short stories. That was what I was looking for.
That's what
Does
you were
he fit
beating around
into
the bush
does he fit into any of the characters in terms of could he be one of
Well,
anything that's been
I'd actually
revealed?
thought that myself because I read it and there was a guy in the story that seemed to float around, and this guy does not seem to have any legs.
Yes.
Yeah, he seems to be lacking in the old lower appendage department, doesn't he?
Yeah, and the guy in this story also came across as a bit of a prick, and this guy's giving me that vibe.
Yeah, especially with that
What,
long
he just
chin.
comes across as a bit of a prick.
Who points like that?
All these death robots in the future, they're sound, but that guy, what a knob.
That is a condescending point if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, he does look like that. Yeah.
He looks like he's trying to shake something off his finger, like, ugh, look what this, look what I've just pulled out of my nose. Ugh.
Listen here, you.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, so I can't really speculate any more than that on what this guy is, what his rules are going to be, anything like that. Could be anyone's guess.
Okay, fair enough. But the two aides, left and right there.
He's got AIDS, all right.
Oh gosh. But that's like someone's grafted basically Necron body parts, or if you're looking about the other way, like a Canoptic sort of like top half to a Necron lower half. It like.
Yeah, that's what I think. They're like just custom-made constructs to go around and protect him on the battlefield.
Okay, that's fair enough. Come on then, move on. We've had enough of old pointy in.
We've seen these.
Mm-hmm.
They are Tripraetorians. They are unchanged as far as I can tell. They're not fairly new sculpts, but they are not as old as the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
This guy we've talked about. We can talk about some more if you like. But yeah, I like him. He's growing on you.
He certainly is. I don't know what it is, but he's definitely growing on me. He's gone from to.
To me, that's what a destroyer lord should look like. He just looks like a machine. Well, he is a machine, obviously, but like a beast of a machine.
Do you reckon they'll do away with the Destroyer Lord? Because Destroyer Lord was a weird thing, wasn't it? Because it was on like a destroyer platform. It buffed destroyers, but it's close combat.
Yeah, I think that'll be gone.
Yeah.
That'll phase out and it'll be replaced by this guy. I think he will move just as quick. He won't be a flying unit, obviously, unless maybe you could get a dual kit version on which he has that whatever you call it, that flying platform.
Whatever I call it, it's not your codex, mate. A repulsor platform.
Repulsor platform, that'll be the one, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's it.
Thinking about it, I could see the top half of him on that, to be honest.
Really? I mean,
same.
The destroyer,
isn't it?
The destroyer's lacking the fancy collar going on.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean with it being a dual kit.
Mm.
You know, you could have a lord with legs and a lord without legs.
Fair enough, yeah.
Could be.
Fair.
Yeah, you could have one with a big old cannon on it and one with all these kitchen utensils.
Well, he has got a big old cannon ante, but he's also got a big old strong hand and a big old axe going on.
Yeah,
so he's covering all bases.
Does he like grab the top of that sword with his giant ass knife fingers there? I can't see that working.
No, I don't.
Swing the sword around as is.
God knows.
Probably
I mean,
swings it around as it is. He's got big, beefy arms, hasn't he? He doesn't need a second hand to help wield it.
he does look like a strong man / woman / thing.
Beefy boy.
Mm.
Yeah. So I think this will be like Dreadnought sort of rules. To be honest, he looks like a big chap.
Don't reckon he'll be a character?
I don't think so. I think that'll be a lord, and there will be different body options and war gear options for it.
Okay, fair enough.
Which
okay.
I like, and he'll go with your destroyers or your Scorpex.
Fair enough. Now, come on, let's move on to Dr. Manhattan here. A lot of people will got excited and this guy was
We've got
shown.
unchanged immortals here that haven't changed.
Yeah, they're great. Now move on. Scroll up.
Yeah. All right. Ta-da!
Go. Yes. Now, there is a bet running between me and Chris, because when I saw this, now I think about it, less and less likely, but I thought what he's holding in his right hand there was a scythe. So I was thinking, are they redoing the Nightbringer? But the more I think about it, it's like, no, it's so far removed on the Nightbringer. But Chris seems to think this is the dragon.
I do indeed.
The existing bet between me and Chris is I say Nightbringer, he says dragon, and there is 1 times B resting on it. So we'll see about that. But Jamie, what do you think?
It's not the bloody Nightbringer.
No.
Nightbringer is very much personification of death, and that doesn't say that to me. Now, you did make another point about this, which I've heard some people mirroring across the internet. This thing on his back, you said it might be some kind of control device. You're not the only person that thinks that.
No, it was a theme with a lot of... the reason I said it is because it seems like with the newer Catan, not the Shard of Deceiver, Shard of Nightbringer, it seemed to be, if not tethered to, near enough some like a canoptic control sort of thing. So that's why I thought that maybe on the back of this Transcendent Catan, or whatever you want to call it, there is a canoptic unit sort of like fused to it, sort of like controlling it.
Yeah, but maybe that is in keeping with the dragon, because the dragon is supposed to be, from what I understand anyway, the most powerful Catan still, or that there was. I don't even know if he was broken down into shards.
He was never shattered down in the first place.
Yes. So the only way to control him is to perhaps to have, or back then, they attached this device to him, and he was given the name the dragon because of the wings and the tail feature.
Yes, but Chris, the one sort of flaw in your argument of this being the dragon, they would have to jump through some large narrative hoops to get that dragon off Mars.
This is 40k, mate. They can write whatever they want to make this.
They can, but I can't see them saying, "Oh, the Necron's just tipped up," and the AdMech said, "Yeah, go downstairs, get that thing out of the basement."
There are bigger implications as well, aren't there? I mean, it's sort of believed that the Void Dragon is the Omniscior, the deity that the AdMech believe in.
Mm-hmm.
So what if the Necrons came to Mars, freed it? What would that mean for them?
Well, who says that they freed it? Who's to say that it didn't just basically wake up and think, "Nah, mate, I don't want to be in here anymore"?
Well, there was a story of a Necron fleet.
That's how prison works, Chris.
Yeah. There was a story about a Necron fleet attempting to land on Mars, a large Necron fleet, apparently. It was vaporized right at the surface.
Death Star I talked about, that's what that was. It was called a World Engine, and it was like cutting a path straight to Mars to try and release this thing.
Wasn't it like vaporized by the guns on Mars?
No, I believe it took like an entire Militarum fleet, a few Space Marine chapters, and it entirely wiped out a Space Marine chapter.
The one I heard was basically a Necron fleet tipped up to Mars, went down to the planet, and it was vaporized before it even hit the surface. Because, believe it or not, there's a lot of guns on Mars in the 41st millennium. It's kind of like where they all come from, really. It's the Forge World, so I can't see them. I can't see that being the dragon.
Ben, but there's one thing you didn't mention.
Go for it.
They didn't have this guy.
Yes, that is true. That guy is pretty much the top cheese in the whole army, and he didn't go to Mars before, but he rocked up, and look, he's brought back a nice shiny new Catan.
Well, getting back to the Catan, I can't see it being the dragon. I just think it's a larger Catan shard, personally.
I mean, the wings and the tail suggest it's the dragon to me. I would like it to be for what that had been narratively in the universe. It'd make things a bit interesting. The model looks flipping amazing.
Yes,
yeah.
I'm loving the sort of like debris raising just because the sheer power coming off this guy.
Yeah,
All Blackstone, you will note.
Yep, I really like, although it does disturb me at the same time, the face. The fact that
lack
it's the
thereof.
lack of it, it's just
That's
a hollow
my
head.
one question about the model. It's that is the symbol of the Triarch, of which the Silent King is the head. So if that's right on his face, that to me suggests there's some kind of alignment there, like they're allied together.
Couldn't possibly be the outsider, could it? I mean, he did go outside.
He did, and the Silent King was outside, but who knows, you know?
But yeah,
Time will tell.
You said that you're looking forward to not looking forward to painting it because of obviously the way it's positioned and whatnot. Look easily breakable.
Oh yeah, I've not bought it yet, but I've already broke it.
Yeah.
No, I just no. That's a bridge I'll cross when I come to it. Yeah, love the model though.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Come on, big bad boss man.
Dun, dun, dun. Now you can make out the whole thing, whereas before there were only snippets.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Measurement-wise, he's what I wanted. He's bigger than these guys. He's a chunky dude. He's a regal-looking dude. He's got his own set of steps that are powered by a god being up here. So that just kind of goes to show what kind of a badass he is.
Yeah.
He's also got these two little cryptech guys here. Now, I've said before, like, the top overruling body of the Necrons is the Triarch, of which the Silent King is the head, and he's got two other aides with him. And the three of them form the Triarch, which rule over all the other dynasties. So my thought is this model is going to be some kind of representation of that.
A new Triarch sort of thing.
Yeah, I think the other two members of the Triarch were killed towards the tail end of the War in Heaven, but maybe he's recruited new ones from God knows where. They look like quite chunky dudes. I mean, look at the size of that staff.
Well, in the
same size as him.
In the short story where the Silent King met Dante, the Silent King, obviously for his namesake, he doesn't speak. So these two, obviously, maybe they just relay messages for him.
Could be his voice.
Yeah. But yeah, I reckoned that this guy would have some sort of like floating command throne. I mean, I thought he was going to be in the sitting position, sort of like laissez-faire kind of thing. But you went out, Jamie. He's a standing boy, you know.
And
he
the
likes to
more
stand
I
up.
think about it, and the more I look at it, if you look at this entire range and you imagine him just standing somewhere in here, he'd be lost, wouldn't he? He wouldn't stand out at all. So yeah, it's good that he's on this massive, what I think is going to be a Lord of War if we've still got those in 9th.
And that thing's got Blackstone going on as well. I mean, to the left and right of that trapped Catan.
Yeah, it's got Blackstone on there, and as I pointed out before, it's got these giant Blackstone shield-looking things that were actually part of the teaser trailer that came out a few weeks ago, and they are on separate bases.
Yeah, as you kind of surmised before, Jay, because this guy is unlikely to have less than 10 wounds, which means he can be targeted. Those things are probably there for protection.
Yeah, I think you're going to have to destroy these things before you can damage the barge itself.
I'd say so.
He's such a massive character in the lore. You can't have him being taken out by a couple of lucky last cannon shots, can you?
No, you cannot. I mean, Christ almighty, thinking about the rule set this guy's potentially have, I bet he's got resurrection coming out the eyeballs, hasn't he?
God, there is that as well, yeah. Imagine this getting back up.
I imagine he's got a phylactery kicking round in the boot of that thing somewhere. I mean, this guy survived.
Whatever this thing does as well, I can't even imagine what the rules are going to be. So looking forward to it.
Oh yeah, it's going to be. It's certainly going to be interesting. I mean, he's got it all going on, hasn't he? I mean, maybe he even may deign to come close combat and hit something with that big stick of his from up there.
It is a big stick.
Poke stuff.
Think about it. I mean, you can't
get off
on it though, can you?
Mate, that Catan might be the gun.
I guess it could be, couldn't it?
He might just like prod it every time he wants it to blow something up.
Hey, you, shoot that thing.
But yeah, that's
Yeah. The more I look at it, the more I like the model.
yeah, it's the centerpiece, isn't it? As much as I like the Catan, I think you're right, Jamie. That he's got the presence.
He's got a Catan powering a floating set of steps. That's the kind of guy he is.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, did we have anything else, or was that it?
I think that was it,
That
wasn't
was it, wasn't it?
So
People have pointed out as well this thing in the background. People think it might be new terrain. Apparently, a lot of other factions have terrain that does have rules and
fortifications or something like that.
yeah.
Whether it is or not, I don't know.
It looks like it could be. It looks good, and it'd be a nice addition to your board.
Yeah,
I mean,
could
if
be.
they bring it out, I'll buy it. Obviously, stupid like that.
I'll buy that. But yeah, that's what else can we say? I think GW have hit a home run here with this particular revamp of this range. It's damn good.
And it's like a flicker of hope for other Xenos races that need a good seeing too.
Well, we can only hope, can't we?
Only hope.
We can only hope. But the Necrons are going to be the initial big threat for the recent 9th edition. So, come on, Jake, furnish us with the goings on. What's been happening in Necron HQ in the lead up to 9th?
Well, the Silent King's back, as we've just discussed, and he's back with a plan. So the recent short story they brought out sort of goes into some of the details of that plan.
Mm-hmm.
I take it you've both read it.
Yes. I've listened to the audiobook version, yes.
There's an audio version.
Well, there's a few chaps on YouTube who do very, very good readings.
Okay, I'll listen to one of those. I mean, other than it being a platform for the author to show off his substantial vocabulary, it's quite a good insight into what might be the future of the 40k narrative, the Dawn of Fire that it's been called. Basically, what the Necrons have been doing, or what Silent King has been doing, is sort of installing things along the edge of the Great Rift to try and close it. It's creating this field which is called the Contra-Empiric Matrix.
Of course it is.
That's not vocabulary.
Of course it is. Go on.
So basically, I think it's Illuminor Cesaras heading up a team of cracked technomandrites, and if you don't know what they are, they're like mega uber smart cryptex. They make all the Necrons crazy, ridiculous weaponry, very untrustworthy, very in it for themselves. They're just like super scientists essentially. And Illuminor Cesaras is the top of them. So they've been creating this network that they're calling the Contra-Empiric Matrix to try and, what I think is to close down the Great Rift. But in the story, some of the other technomandrites are suggesting that at the rate they're expanding and pushing it forward, it's going to attract attention from the lesser races, they call them. Because what it's doing is this field, anything in it is just like the organic life forms. They're just sort of stopping. They're just stopping, lying down, and doing nothing until they die, essentially.
Right, okay.
Because if you've read the other recent short story that has Necrons in it, there are Imperial Guard investigating a Imperial Guard ship that they've not had any communication from. I think it was called the USG Ishimura or something like that.
Right.
But they get on the ship. There's no life at all. They have a look around. They find dead people everywhere. They found a couple of people on life support that are just completely out of it. There's no life there at all. And then Necrons show up as if it's some kind of trap and kill a lot of them.
You see,
basically what that was is the result of this field on living things. But that's kind of all we know about it at this point.
They've not given any indication of what happens to warp-born entities like demons and that kind of thing, have they?
No, it's very anti-warp though, so I can't imagine it being good.
See, the weird thing is, I mean, speaking for myself, obviously, in my section of the lore, I thought that basically the stick behind the Silent King was he exiled himself out to, obviously, the outside the Milky Way galaxy, and then he encountered the Tyranid of High Fleets and went, "This is an issue. I best go wake the rest of the boys up," and that's what he was doing. But it seems like they've shifted focus to like he's now trying to close the Great Rift.
Yep, that seems to be what it is, but I think there is more to it. Like at the end of the story, it suggests that this plague that the Contra-Empiric Matrix is causing is in some way part of their plan as well. They want attention from other races. They're trying to draw them in to do something, like interact with this field in some way, but we don't know why. And the Tyranids are definitely going to be in it somewhere because they're his main focus.
Right. Okay. Do you think he's trying to? Well, obviously, if this, I'm not going to do the voice or say if this sort of like field that he's producing, it's like a sort of like wide net. Do you think it's something that could possibly disrupt synapse or the hive mind?
I mean, God knows what effect it's going to have on Tyranids. I mean, in like sentient beings, it's causing them to just sort of like their brains to switch off, I guess. Which is strange. Maybe that wasn't part of the plan to start with, and then they realized what kind of effect it was going to have, so they're trying to, I don't know, do something more with it. Don't know. It's all part of the plan, but we don't know what the plan is.
Wow. We'd have to see when, unless you've got any ideas, Chris, now?
No, not really. I'm not particularly clued up when it comes to the Necron lore, so it sounds interesting, but it's all speculation, isn't it? At the end of at this stage,
We're guessing.
It's just pure guesswork. I always assumed that this sort of scale of a release for the Necrons was going to be accompanied by, or was going to have a focus on, sort of like a Necron versus Tyranid campaign because of the background with the Silent King and the Tyranids.
I think that's coming eventually.
Yeah,
this might be just setting groundwork for it.
It is, yeah. It might be a case that he's trying to close the Great Rift so that he can focus on the Tyranid threat, which is very imminent, and it's only just around. It's not too far away, and not having Chaos trying to filter through this Great Rift, which is perhaps going to scupper his plans and prevent him from dealing with the Tyranids. It could be something like that. Who knows at this stage?
I mean, Necrons love physics, don't they? They love rules, and wherever demons are concerned, physics go out the window.
So yeah, I think the Great Rift is a thorn in the side at the minute.
Well, that is interesting, but I suppose we'll have to really wait and see when the actual lore drops with the codex and whatnot. I'm assuming you're going to be picking up almost instantaneously, Jay.
I may do.
Oh, do you know? I was actually perusing the actual GW website today, Jamie, and I saw something very, very interesting. This was obviously on the lead up to obviously the release of the 9th edition teaser. I'm just going to put an image in the chat there, and when you see it, you'll know what I'm on about. Obviously, because you've seen it before. And this is, for me, is just proof pudding that I don't think GW puts up any without having a meaning behind it. Look at that. You've seen that before, right?
Yes.
What do you think that says?
Oh, the binary.
The binary, yeah.
I never gave it a thought, to be honest. I guess somebody has.
Well, that somebody is me. And I have actually translated that binary.
Have you?
I have.
Yeah, you can translate it. Yeah, that's the sad thing about all this.
It just goes to show somebody went the effort to write in binary something that like 99% of people wouldn't even think twice about.
I remember looking at that image and just glancing over it, thinking, "Oh, it's just obviously trying to mimic what a Necron would probably output. It's probably nothing. Yeah, there's nothing in it."
Yeah. Do you want to know what that says, Jamie?
Have a guess.
Go on.
Have a guess first. Have a guess.
When you leak images of a new range, you should probably do it in high resolution.
No, believe it or not, no. If this website I'm on that translates binary is anything to believe, that code says, "Hey kids, want to see some new models?" Which I thought
out loud.
which I thought was pretty cool. Someone went through the effort to figure out what that was in binary and put it in there, knowing full well that 99% of people would not even give that a second look.
I was expecting something great then, some hidden secret that's going to reveal all the plans.
I know.
That's what it says.
I thought, what if they've put the plans right there and we're just overlooking them? So I went through that, and it actually just says, "Hey kids,
You spent half an hour typing all that in. And
he actually spent about 10 minutes typing all of those digits into a Google search engine. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So kids out there, that is proof pudding that GW never ever puts anything up without having some sort of significance to it. I stand corrected. You know, sometimes I thought they just threw stuff up there, just ad hoc, but no, they don't. They don't apparently.
Something.
There's
It all
always
means
some
something.
hidden meaning. Yeah.
Well, boys, I think that about wraps up, doesn't it? Unless you've got any other massive revelation you want to drop. Anyone deciphered any codes on the sides of like pyramids or something that you want to share?
Nope, nothing from me. That pretty much covers everything.
Jake?
No, I'm very happy.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for the new Necron release?
Well, it's caused me to stop my procrastination and start work on my house again after 2 years, so I've got somewhere to do all this stuff. So,
The only reason you're actually decorating and finishing off your house is so that you can actually collect and buy and paint this new range.
And there you are, ladies and gentlemen, a range so good you will actually bother to do DIY for it. Right then, on that one, guys, please leave. If you have any thoughts, please share them with us in the comments below. You know, thumbs up, thumbs down, all that good stuff. And we will catch you all next time. See you later.
See you later.
That's all.